Right, let's start our journey into a Friends-like world with a show that hopefully will have you laughing from the very beginning. We're talking New Girl. Alright, so it's not set in New York, and one of the stars is probably a bit more prominent than the rest of the gang yet, Zooey Deschanel, who is the titular New Girl Jess. But on many levels, this is a show that will talk to people who like the dynamics and comedy at play in Friends. It focuses on the loves and lives of a group of friends who hang out in a large open-plan apartment, recognise that, and it has a lot of laughs baked into the script. Jess, as a character, possibly shares the most with Phoebe in the world of Friends, but her housemates all bring characteristics that will make you feel close to Central Perk. There's even love stories that develop between the friends in the apartment. What's not to like? Okay, so, you've seen New Girl. Okay, no problem. We've got another one for you. Another well-loved comedy, this one. The show follows the fortunes of a group of pals in the big city, and just like Friends, it has plenty of laughs along the way. If you're looking for another show set in central New York that has plenty of odd couple dynamics between the people on screen, this is a show that will have you coming back for more. Just like Friends, this show ran for nearly a decade, and therefore, if you get into it, there's plenty to watch and rewatch until, well, you go and start watching Friends again. Now, next up, perhaps you're looking for a show that makes you really feel a part of something, a place where every time you open the door, you feel welcome. Indeed, a place where everybody knows your name. One of the godparents of the modern sitcom, and Friends owes a lot to this brilliant piece of television. The cast may be all of different ages, and they may be hanging out in a bar in Boston rather than a coffee shop in New York, but the dynamics and the humour in this iconic series are actually quite similar in many ways. There is love, loss, and a lot of misunderstanding along the way, with hilarity ensuing, not to mention a brilliant cast. It comes also with the fact that it would go on to spawn Frasier, so that's another tick in the box, right? We are going to go back to an apartment next, but you might also be thinking, I wish everyone was a little bit smarter in the sitcoms that I watch. Sometimes they just don't seem to be as clever as me. In some ways, this show becomes more like Friends as it goes on, as the initial one girl and a bunch of geeky guys concept expands into a group of friends interacting in the social and work environments as they take on the challenges of being young adults. Now, most of the characters in this series are probably smarter than the average Joey, but in its essence, this show still has a lot of hanging around in apartments, talking about nothing much in particular, getting into scrapes and exploring the relationships between the people who are starring in the show. As you might expect, everyone lives across the hall from one another except the ones who don't. Yep, it's quite Friends-like, and I think you'll like it. Why are all these shows American, I hear you saying? You're British, why have you not put any British shows on the list? Okay, I want to go back to America now, I hear you say. Okay, that's fine. Who are you talking to? I don't know. There's a lot of similarities that can be drawn between Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David's comedy behemoth and Friends, not least that it's one of the biggest comedies of its era in America and continues long after it's finished to be a show that has left a permanent imprint on popular culture. What is more, it's about a group of pals who hang out in an apartment and in coffee shops, who love and live and do wacky stuff. It's on the darker and edgier end of comedy at times, and there's fewer haircuts that you'd want to emulate, but it'll certainly offer something to most Friends fans. Now, wouldn't it be good if we learn something from TV? Well, maybe you'll learn something from this. Here's a show you might like that's like Friends. A Spanish class in a community college may not much sound like six friends in a New York apartment, but what Community lacks in its setting, it certainly makes up for in its sensibility and humour. Sharing a similar ensemble cast dynamic to Friends, this series has a dark and at times silly humour that will resonate, and like Friends, it quickly draws you into a world of characters who are so well drawn that you cannot help but want to stay for more and more. It also has Chevy Chase in it, which is an extra bonus. Final one on our list today is The Office, the US version of The Office. This is a show that has a certain Friends-like quality to it. Maybe it's the strong characterisation and relationship between the leads. Maybe it's the pithy humour and more than its fair share of silliness. But whatever it is, this is a show that, like Friends, once you fall in love with, you'll be happy to watch over and over again.